The education in Finland can be divided into 3 levels: primary school, secondary education and higher education. Primary school is mandatory in Finland, meaning that even if you want to be uneducated dum-dum, legally you can't. In Finland, most of the kids start primary school in the year when they turn 7 and finish it in the year when they turn 16. Primary school is pretty similar for the Finnish kids, and what I mean by that is that almost everyone goes to the public school, as the private schools are quite rare in Finland, unlike in the USA, for example. Perhaps the reason for this is that Finland takes other nations to school when it comes to schools. The first real choice involving their education for the Finnish kids comes after primary school, the most common choices being high school and vocational school, or as they are known in Finnish, lukio and ammattikoulu, which is more commonly known as AMIS. High school has been the more popular choice, most likely because of its nature of general education. It gives more time to think about what you would like to do when you grow up. If you didn't figure it out already, these schools have different goals. The goal of vocational school is to get sufficient skills so that you can practice a profession. And the goal of high school is to get a hat and an idea of what you would like to study in the future. High school and vocational school differ with their distinct cultures, and there is a slight competition and slander between those two, as shown by this random TikTok I stumbled upon. I think that most of these comparisons are done by kids in primary school, and that it's pretty dumb to say that either one of these two is better in general, because naturally, different individuals have different preferences. But the memes are pretty funny though. I would say that out of these two, vocational school has a much more distinct culture revolving around it, known as Amiskulttuuri. Amis must not be confused with Amish. The easiest way to tell them apart is by their means of transport. The Amish favors a horse and a carriage, while the Amish will likely choose a cheap car. If you are still uncertain, you can gain more confidence by examining their heads. From the Amish, you will likely find a thick beard and a traditional hat, while the Amish dons a Karjala-lippis and a slight moustache. Traditionally, Amiskulttuuri revolves around cars, but everything that can be drifted is a viable option. A good example of Amiskulttuuri could be the following. You buy a cheap car and then invest double of the car's price to have a big subwoofer so that you can blast Amispoppia at your local supermarket as you are cruising around aimlessly. Where the vocational school has its distinct culture, high school does not. For example, there is no such thing as lukiopoppi. Where high school differs is with its traditional events such as vanhat and penkkarit. And we can't forget about the matriculation examination or ylioppilaskoe. These examinations are noted in the media and they are the pinnacle of high school. Funny thing is, after you have secured a place for your following studies, no one really cares about your grades from these examinations. The highest level of education in Finland consists of universities and universities of applied sciences, or yliopisto and ammattikorkeakoulu. So what is the difference between these two? To put it extremely shortly, universities are more academic and degrees consist of more credits, meaning that they take more time, and they are usually split in two. First you get a bachelor's degree and after that master's degree. On the other hand, universities of applied sciences focus more on practical things. You can apply to these schools with all secondary education backgrounds, but it is most common and perhaps the easiest to apply from high school. Student culture is quite strong in Finland. Most of the different schools and student organizations have their own customs and traditions. One custom that most of the student organizations share is the degenerative use of alcohol. Day drinking in the middle of the week is only alcoholic behavior after you have graduated. The most notable occasion of student culture is Vappu. Vappu is not a single event, as it has a time period in the spring that usually lasts for several weeks. Vapu ei lopu.
Vappu on sentäs ehdottomasti vuoden hauski juhla, eiks ookin? Onko? Sano, onko vappu hauski juhla?
Kyllä, kuule vappu on hauska juhla, mutta kuulepas. Kun sitä vapusta on jo 2,5 viikkoa.
And while we are on the subject of higher education, in Finland it is not as financially crippling than for example in the USA. For Finnish students, there are no tuition fees, so you don't have to get a massive student loan. Of course you can if you want to, and because the interest rates are so low and the government pays off a part of your debt if you graduate in time, the student loans are quite compelling. And of course, the government pays you student allowance while you are studying. There is a chance to get a doctoral degree after you have graduated from university, and if you manage to get one, you are rewarded with a nice hat and a sword. But why? To study the blade, of course.